Hello everybody, welcome back for StarCraft 2v2 action. We have uThermal and Goblin going up against Urono and GuGus, which those are some names, and they are doing the dirty. They are up to no good here on Undercurrent LE with the back base and the ramp, but also a very open base at the front, and the purple-orange team, these colors, are going to go for most likely double proxy racks and gate? This seems very late. Oh, we already get one gateway here, and GuGus is going to go for those double racks at 16 supplies. Seems a little late, but what do I know? And the double racks are going to go down. He's probably going to go for some gases then. Or is he going to go for a 4 racks? Just a lot of Marines. We see double gateway coming out from Urono. And he does not have any gases. This is going to go pretty darn quickly all of the sudden. This is, of course, the uThermal 2v2 Circuit February edition, which most of you have probably been waiting for. And let's see. No, they are still in the dark. Little hiccup there, sorry. And this is 3 gateways going up against... Ooh, it's 4 gateways actually. With 4 racks as well. They have no gases to speak of, so this is a giga rush. And Goblin's just now scouting. Now I know uThermal was going for random, but apparently Goblin also going for random here. And we have Protoss Terran versus Protoss Terran. Cybercore and Gateway are seen, so I don't think they know anything. Goblin is sending out a Reaper, but look at this. What they see here is almost normal, except for the fact that there's no Gateway research. Oh my lord, GuGus is making a lot of Marines. We're getting a lot of Zealots as well. This is a pretty far away location. If you look at the minimap, it's almost like a triangle. It's not that much closer to their opponents as if they build it in base. But their opponents are not going to scout it at all. uThermal and Goblin, are they ready? Both of them expanding. We do see a Stargate coming out. The Reaper now finds the cheesy bastards. And we're going to go for the full zoom out and see what happens. Bunker is coming out for Goblin here, but he literally doesn't have anything else except for this Reaper. Does throw down a bomb, gets a little bit of damage, but this supply depot is going to go down. Did not pull the SCVs to try and repair. Now we have one Stalker here for uThermal. They are getting completely surprised by this cheese from their opponents. Urono and GuGus. Are they going to do this? Oh, the probes come up the line. uThermal gets a pretty nice surround, but the Marines start shelling away at the opponent's workers now. The bunker's up here for Goblin, but the Marines are not inside of that bunker, so the bunker doesn't do much if your guns are gone. Oh, we do have a bunker over here, but there's only the one Reaper inside. SCVs do try to repair, but the Marines are target firing it down. Lots of probes already dead, and now uThermal's last mining base is also in peril. Goblin is not mining anymore because most of his SCVs are dead. A lot of chaos, and we only have 3 Reapers remaining here for Goblin. Does have one more bunker, and maybe they can hold. The Reapers go into the bunker. The SCVs go for the repair, but GuGus with the nice target fire does get rid of all of those SCVs. Now Goblin with a little bit of enter and get out of the bunker micro again. Actually is able to hold on there because the Reapers can actually tank some damage, and then you get back into the bunker and they can start healing inside of the bunker. Also, maybe the Marines have to like retarget, although they are hit scans, so probably doesn't matter. Oh, but uThermal has 4 Stalkers now. Urono has made a gas. It is now actually making Stalkers of his own. This Zealot now completely stuck, and suddenly, because of the mobility from Goblin and uThermal, they are pushing this back. I am a little surprised that they are alive. Oh, and these Stalkers do take down a lot of Marines. Let's look at the losses. 28 probes and 21 SCVs lost on the side of uThermal and Goblin. what is their worker count looking like? 9 SCVs and 17 probes versus 1922. So, uThermal and Goblin are still behind, I would say here. But they do probably have a slight tech advantage. And some Reapers get into the main here. Urono, how are you going to deal with this? We do have an Adept. And now a Zealot as well. It's the Brood War Zealot skin. For those who are a little confused. Oh, these Marines might take down these Reapers. Oh, nice stutter step. Try to get in close. Do you get the one Reaper? Adept from on top. Does get the dunk. And takes down another Reaper. That's 2 Reapers down. We do have 5 Stalkers and an Oracle here for uThermal. Where is that Oracle? Oh, it's still back at home. It's actually defensive, putting down stasis wards and mines. They are defending for all they're worth. Goblin still has this SCV, now sees that the barracks are going back, and the expansion is only now just happening for Urono and GuGus. That is actually a little later than I would have expected. And these 3 gateways for Urono, he can't fly them back like GuGus can. Now they do have their natural position as well, so we have a Nexus coming up. The CC's already done, but Goblin has been benefiting from the mules here to try and catch back up in this game. And with this little lull, we even see that uThermal flying ahead in the worker count. And Goblin struggling, but catching up. We do have Tech Lab on this starport. Might see some Banshees. Although, since there are Oracles already, there might be turrets being made. And these Oracles were spotted with the Zalnog Tower. The Stalkers are ready. Oh, they move out of position just for a second, but they do get 2 shots on the Oracles. And those Oracles are going to go down right away. We do see Hyperflight Rotors going down for Goblin. So he's going to have some speedy Banshees. Going to try and be useful in this game by just pulling back his opponent's units to, well, force them to defend against those Banshees. One Banshee is about to come out. We see Blink being researched here as well for uThermal. It's so empty in the top left if I get rid of the production. It's so uncanny. And siege tanks are going to come out here for GuGus, but he has a lot of barracks and he intends to use them. Is going to get a reactor as well. And double engineering bay coming up with a 3rd CC, so GuGus going to be transitioning into bio with a couple tanks as they are just really good in 2v2. And of course the Protoss players are going to go for Blink Stalkers and are never going to stop making them. I still fantasize about Terrans going double Terran or a double factory tank, so that the bio, I mean the Stalkers in front, have a little bit more anchorage, a little bit more backup. Because I feel like tanks are just so good in 2v2 since there's twice the amount of units that you can deal the splash damage to. And more positions to really, really be annoying to your opponents, because 2v2 maps are just, they're not 1v1 maps, let's put it that way. GuGus and Urono are moving out here with their first tank and a bunch of Blink Stalkers. Oh, uThermal's moving across the map. We don't have Blink for either side. It's about to finish for both sides. So close that both sides will have Blink now. Oh, uThermal does get pincered by the units of Urono, and then he blinks out, but Urono also has Blink. And a bunch of Stalkers are going to go down here, but oh, uThermal gets away. Maybe one more Stalker. Oh, he canceled the Stalker shot, or maybe Stalker himself canceled it. I'm never sure. Because StarCraft units do have leash range, and they start their animation, and then they'll usually shoot, but sometimes they just stop. Because then the unit has moved too far out of range. You see that a lot with Mutalisk and Thingamajigs, Zerglings. Oh, the Speed Banshees are in the base. One of them is 6 kills, the other one is 1. So we do have 9 kills on these Banshees, which is pretty nice. 12 kills even. Oh my lord. These Banshees really, really pulling back their opponents. I mean, that's... Oh, look at those eyes. Exactly what I think Goblin tried to accomplish there. We saw a full recall out of Urono. And that means that they are not pressuring the front. That means uThermal can take a 4th here without feeling pressured. But the other side, GuGus also taking a third. Urono taking a third. And look at that, Goblin finally finding these gateways. Now going to take down this pylon. And Urono will have to rebuild some gates at home. I don't know how many gates at home he actually has. He literally has one, doesn't he? Oh. Oh, that's not good. Urono probably going to float some money here, because he is kind of falling behind here. Doesn't have as many probes. Isn't macroing as cleanly. Goblin and uThermal are just sitting back. They are just taking the punches, as it were. And Urono kind of wants to push right now because he can't reinforce himself. So his army is as strong as it's going to be for the next, like, 2 minutes. And so GuGus is going to come up here, and behind it, Urono can try and regain control of his gateways. Oh, there's a wood mine. And we do have the tanks. Oh, GuGus, can you find a nice position for those tanks? Does find a decent position here, denying the 4th base of uThermal. No gold for you. And, oh, these probes have a different idea, but... Are they gonna die? I'm so confused. These probes, they just want to die. And a big blink in from Urono. He finds a tank with the scan from GuGus. And we see 4 cloaked banshees just running in here from Goblin. He's kind of doing what Zerg wants to do with Mutas, but I guess banshees are slightly cheaper. And he still makes himself useful by making some tanks as well. Now, I'm very surprised to see Goblin transitioning into bio here. Would have kind of expected him to stay on mech. Oh my god, uThermal finds an angle, blinks in, gets rid of the tanks. And now, Urono, you see that his stalker count is still this low. He still hasn't been able to really reinforce anything. Plus, he's been trying to deal with these banshees in his base. That was a huge fight for Goblin and Mark. Goddamn. I read this and then I say it, because it's also his name, but uThermal. I don't even know him personally that well to call him Mark all the time, but... I think it's because of on-stream, like, most people call him that, like the Dutch people that I know. Anyways, Urono does have a 4th base now, is finally adding on some extra gateways. He is doing a good job in the upgrade department. And we see on both sides, upgrades are doing pretty well. 2-2 almost done for GuGus. Whereas for Goblin, it hasn't even started yet. So GuGus really taking on the mantle here. Goblin, look at the Goblin supply, actually. Dude, he is catching up. Maybe uThermal sent him some cash money in the bank, or the mules are just going crazy, because he has 4 orbitals. Or 3. He has 3, sorry. Mules are just good then, I guess. And uThermal does finally kill the gateways of Urono here, and 30 minutes in, this game is honestly a little crazy. GuGus moving out on the map, 150 supply of pure army. Well, of course he has 50 SEVs as well. But still 100 army supply here for GuGus. Oh my god, he catches a lot of stalkers here. Oh, uThermal supply plummeting really badly. And what is uThermal trying to do with this money right now? Is he trying to go into a robo or what? It's a little confusing what he's trying to do. He has a Stargate, he has a robo, and he has a bunch of gateways. So he's trying to play tempo here with the stalkers. Trying to allow Goblin to catch up here. Oh, Zealot run by. Gets caught by all of the bio. And in the meantime, there's a Stalker force here in the 4th. And the... Yeah, the 4th and the 5th of uThermal. uThermal just trying to crank out as many probes as possible. Oh my god, that's... Goblin's forces trying to take out these Stalkers. They do manage to take it out. And GuGus actually retreating from... I guess it's really hard to fight into those tanks without the support of his Protoss ally. If Urono manages to just pump out like 12 to 24 Zealots, just then those can really give GuGus an entry point. If he gets a couple tanks here, though, he can shut down at least one of the bases. Goblin, though, has a couple siege tanks ready. The bio tries to split up, runs in front, but the tanks in the back shelling down on the bio army. But GuGus just don't care. He runs in, he kills a lot of units, he kills the probes, but there's still a tank, and now Goblin actually surrounding him with the bio, but who's surrounding who? Urono is coming in from the back. GuGus picks up and leaves. Now redrops and probably is going to try and rejoin the fight with Urono here. We do have a couple Archons as well. Those are pretty good at killing Marines if they are allowed to get into range. GuGus, my man, just runs in with the Marauders, clicks down the siege tanks, and that's so valuable. This makes it way easier for them to find angles. And on the other side of the map, we see Zealots from uThermal ransacking multiple bases. Honestly, I don't know what's going on here. 3-3 is halfway done for GuGu, whereas Goblin only halfway to 2. So I'm really looking at GuGu here to just... I don't know if the S is silent or not. But if GuGu can take the initiative here to just fight his opponent with equal numbers, he will win with his, like, just stellar upgrades. Oh, nice kiting back, waiting for his ally to join the fight, not going for the 1v2. Nice job. Urono still trying to react to the Zealot run-bys that are ransacking his 4th base, and have been for a while now. Well, GuGu's taking the long way around. We have a PF here with 1 siege tank behind, and a DT Shrine from uThermal coming up as well. uThermal still kind of sad that he has to keep remaking Nexi. He's clicking the PF, which means he's not firing at Goblin's army, and that's actually a decent army trade for Goblin. Look at the supply for Goblin. And now gets to eradicate the army of Urono. Urono, do you have a storm? He does have storms. But the Zealots from uThermal, dude, let's look at the units lost. More than 100 probes for uThermal have died, as more of them are dying by the Dark Templar of Urono, which also has Dark Templar. 70 probes have died, 30 SCVs, and 30 SCVs. Poor uThermal has literally lost more probes than most of you guys make in 2 games. He's lost more than 100 probes. And if we look at the supply, it's pretty even. Urono still on the upgrade lead, mostly. How many tanks do we have? 5 for Urono, 3 for Goblin, if they get a decent position. But not all of the tanks are in front. I guess some of them are still being used defensively. One of them is just chilling. But, oh, look at that. They get control over this bottom area once again. It's very hard to defend both the top and the bottom for Goblin. And if you don't have enough siege tanks, GuGu and Urono, they get to be on the offensive. They choose the angle, and Goblin and uThermal just have to keep shuffling their defenses. This War Prism has been doing God's work. uThermal has been doing the zombie run-by work. 68 Zealots have been sent into the meat grinder, and more to follow. Goblin goes for a counterattack with this giant Bio Doom Drop and forces GuGu and Urono back, even though they had a stranglehold on this position. And uThermal going for more of a ninja base. I would have loved it to just take a corner here, as he is just consistently losing all of his bases. Does he have any mining remaining? Just a little bit. Scans are gonna go down on the map. Oh, Goblin scanning for bases. And this is... it's a nice War Prism skin. It's very confusing that one Protoss is yellow and the other Protoss is orange. Takes a bit to process. But look at this. GuGus has 170 supply, has good upgrades. Goblin is catching up, but is it enough? The tanks are sieging up, but the tanks of Goblin were already firing. GuGu just walks on in. Urono is a little late, but still, Goblin's 3rd base completely eradicated off the map, never existed. And we do have a bunch of Liberators here, but is that enough? Because Marines and Stalkers can shoot up. They run in, and wow, Urono even has a bunch of DTs. And now Goblin is going for a counterattack, but their main base is about to be run over by units. Or is GuGus gonna somehow, for some reason, retreat? Urono and GuGus actually have enough units back at home. Goblin loses all of those units. uThermal dipping below 30 supply, and Goblin and uThermal actually call out the GG, meaning that the mysterious challengers take game number 1 versus uThermal and Goblin. Oh my. 20-minute 2v2 that started with a A 4 racks and a 4 gate. No gas. I think the biggest thing that I learned from this map is that these two bases need to be defended before your opponent takes this position or this position. Like having 1, 2, 3 tanks as the players on the left is super important. Just having like 1 tank, 2, 3, 4, and then having your army like be in the middle. Yeah, maybe you just put like 4 tanks here and like, I don't know, maybe... How do you defend this position? Because I think once you take this, you can defend this. But, yeah, I don't know. Because I felt like this base is really strong. Because you have the Solnaga, you can have like a tank, and them moving through this corridor, or up here and then down there, is difficult, right? Like 1 or 2 tanks, and an army over here can just cut off anything. And with the Solnaga, you can see this ramp, you can see this ramp, you can see this ramp, you can see this. You can even see part of this ramp. So if you have the Solnaga, you can very comfortably defend most of the top side. So maybe you have to just leave this be. Just take the high ground and take this base, this base, this base, maybe even this base, and just kind of force your opponents to also abandon that side of them or theirs. And then you can even push from this location. So, yeah, I think this location is somehow the most important part on Undercurrent. Let's go to game number 2. And for game number 2, we load up into Rhoskallian, which is that map with the Solnaga towers in the middle. And the third base on the super low ground, your naturals together. And then this is that area we saw Goblin uThermal in a different game versus Max Pack Spirit. This is so important, this area. Because you take 1/3 base from one of the players, and then getting out of this spot is hard. Because your opponents can camp here and here, take Solnagas if they want to, and really contain you in your third base. And you just can't go anywhere. Tanks behind this 1 natural is annoying as well. And one thing we do have to notice here is that uThermal and Goblin playing their main races, or I guess uThermal used to main Terran and now he mains random a lot. I don't know if he randomed for this game, but he did get Terran. That much I know for sure. I could check in his recent video, which you should go watch. I'll link it at the end of the video. But uThermal made an entire video about his run with Goblin in his own 2v2 circuit, which is, you know, super cool. You can hear Goblin and uThermal interact during the game. You can hear what their plans are. Really cool video. And on the other side, GuGus has Zerg. I don't know if it's random. I don't know if he picked it, but he is playing Zerg now. So maybe he was playing random in the first game as well. And he is going for a hatchery first into a very fast gas pool and starts queens as soon as the hatchery pops. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of speedlings coming out here from GuGus, which that's what we have been seeing from Zergs in 2v2 so far. Is that they just want to capitalize on the fact they can spam out super mobile, annoying units in the Zergling. Oh, Reaper comes out from uThermal. It's going to be annoying here in the drone line, but there is a Stalker underway, and a probe even going down. I don't think any... Yeah, only the probe of Goblin died. But yeah, the Zergs have been making lots of Zerglings. Because those can take map control early, force a lot of Hellions from their opponents, and then they can force or focus on either feeding their ally with gas, they can get double ups, they can get infestors, they can get Ultralisk, which is, and even Banelings. Banelings are pretty decent in 2v2 because again, splash damage is good. uThermal did take down a probe there. This Reaper found a kill, now get some scouting information. Oh, the probes come off the line, but they don't finish the job. But there's a Stalker here to finally finish the job. Urono Good job, Urono. Going for a proxy gate once again. And Gateway Research is being chrono boosted here. Do their opponents know what's going on? Goblin and uThermal, do you guys know? There is a Void Ray coming in. That is pretty defensive. But it might just be to clear up both of these overlords. This Hellion is scouting around. They know something is up, and they found something up. Goblin and uThermal are on red alert. Not the video game, just the state of being. And oh, the Hellions do get chunked up a little bit by these Stalkers, but they are ready to deal with the Zerglings. More Zergling from GuGus running across the map to try and help Urono with his Stalker force. Oh, the Zerglings, they can't really run into these Hellions. But if the Zerglings get on top of the Stalker, I feel like, Urono, if you fight on the right here, you could take that. But now with the double Widow Mines are super good against Zerg Protoss. Oh, there goes the Widow Mine. Ooh, Urono, decent split. Oh, splits off the second Stalker as well. But now the Force Fields come in. The Zerg commits whilst the Protoss retreats. And that is the 2v2 sin of a lifetime. It happens in MOBAs as well. One guy goes for a fight and the other one is just on his way out. Aye. And if you're fighting 1v2, that's never good. GuGus goes for a desperation surround against these Hellions, but uThermal... Oh, you can't expect him to lose his Hellions against any amount of Zerglings, honestly. I feel like this guy's just too good with that unit. And now GuGus, let's look at the work count. 31 drones. He's gonna make a couple more. He does have Zerglings. Ooh, they didn't even manage to take both of the Zolmagas. Goblin now does lose his Adept here, and so GuGus and Urono do still have map control, and that is that big Zerg advantage, I would say. Especially against Protoss, because Protoss is a little slow in getting out on the map. In 1v1 doesn't matter that much, but in 2v2, it's pretty darn noticeable that your Protoss ally just doesn't really have any units, and if he's out of position for a little bit, he's suddenly very sad. Third base for Urono is going down as well. They are using their map control really well. I'm loving that. We see some pinging going down from Urono. Maybe they are afraid of some aerial assault. Goblin sends in an hallucination. Is he still using his Stargate? He has 3 Void Rays. Maybe they are expecting some type of Roach Ravager, like Ravager Blink Stalker follow-up? Because that is pretty strong. Ooh, this circling is going to spot that. A third base for Goblin is going to go down. uThermal is making his third command center as well. And he has 2 factories. He's making Hellions and tanks. Interested to see if he keeps making Hellions or if he is going to go into... Oh, Blue Flame on the map. Actually, wow. That was not as effective as I was thinking it was going to be. 9 Hellions have died. So I guess we kind of missed those being caught. And Urono is going to lose his base here. Oh, these Zerglings click on the Nexus, but I don't think they have the damage here. And they do redirect their attention to the probes. Try to click them down. The Hellions do get in the way, and 0 probes go down, but all of the links have been roasted. uThermal clicking which base he is planning to take. And I do like this base with the planetary, with like 1, 2, 3 tanks. Oh, that takes a big portion of the map all of a sudden. Very strong. Almost forces your opponent to go into like carriers and stuff, just to be able to break all of the siege tanks that are on the map. Now look at that. Yes, double siege tanks. And wow, uThermal actually putting multiple siege tanks in the base of Goblin. Or, well, just one, I guess. That's very interesting. Just in case there is a drop of some sorts. Stasis Ward as well to provide some vision. Goblin finally finds another Overlord with the Void Rays. And the game has slowed down a little bit. Let's see what Goblin is thinking about unit-wise. He's getting +1 attack. He is getting more Robos. And perhaps he's going to go an old-school type of composition in the Void Ray Colossus. I don't know if you guys played in Wings of Liberty, but Void Ray Colossus, that was some shit. That was cool. Another Overlord has been found. These pings are quite loud. Slow roaches on the map, baby. More drones being made by GuGus. And he is trying to get an infestation pit here. Probably wants to go up to Hive. Maybe go into Lurkers. We already see Hydra at speed underway. And, oh, the tanks of uThermal, if they siege up behind this natural of GuGu, how are they going to deal with that? The Hive is only just coming up. There's no Vipers here whatsoever. And the drones are immediately evacuated. How are they defending this? Like, I don't know. I would just take another base and just evacuate. Urono is going to run in. Oh, Stasis Ward does grab a bunch of Stalkers. GuGu wants to run in, but he doesn't really want to go into siege tank range in this. I don't know, I feel like GuGu and Urono should just run into their opponent's bases and force them to unsiege from there. Just force them to come back. Oh, the roaches, look at that. Widow Mines, dude. Widow Mines are good. Take down some of the roaches, and GuGus has the good idea, but Urono staying behind to try and defend against these Hellions. GuGu, your army is not big enough to 2v1, my dude. And he does try and take down a couple probes, with losing his army plus losing a full mining base. Does not bode well for this purple Zerg. Urono sends a bunch of zealots. Oh, he comes at a good time. A lot of tanks are unsieged and only one is remaining. And GuGu can actually resaturate his base. Not for free, but he does get it. Meaning that he's back on 4-base income. But Vipers are now coming out, but it feels like it's going to be a little bit too late if this attack from Goblin plus uThermal has something to say about it. It's just pure tank hellbad moving across the map here, but they are on a timer. These Vipers are gonna come out. 1-1 is out for GuGus as well. Not starting the 2-2. We do see the Lurker Den and another Viper being added on. I mean, if you see these amounts of Stalkers, you just want to have like 7 Viper. I mean, I guess that's a little much, but still, you want to have a lot of them. Here come the Vipers. They still need a little bit of energy. They're going to suck the hatchery that is in the front to try and get that. Goblin, what? Goblin has 2-2 upgrades. I was like, how are these Hydras evaporating so hard? Would like a couple spines there from GuGus, but Mass Hydra is trying to defend, and Mass Hydra fucking sucks against tanks. Stalkers also don't really enjoy tanks at all. We do see the yoinks coming out from the Vipers, and the Hydras hold position. Very nice. Lurkiden in the front. Oh, GuGu. Critical infrastructure is in peril here. How many tanks do we have? 21 tanks from uThermal. We do see a couple yoinks on the tanks. And oh my god, disruptor shots are just demolishing. 8 kills there. 8 Hydra kills. And a 4th base of GuGus does go down. He's going to try and take another base. The drones are going to long distance mine. But with all these tanks, Goblin and uThermal can just take a lot of space on the map. Look at these Blink Stalkers just blink into the natural. If you don't have anything to defend against this, this is just going to keep happening. Tanks and Stalkers are such good units in 2v2. Oh my god, they go for the bust. The Immortal gets caught by the Zealots in the bottom there. The Vipers do shut down a lot of the tanks, but the Zealots and the Stalkers behind these Immortals need to come off the line. These are nice Immortals, I have to say. Whoa, yo, what? Immortals, come on. It's just Stalkers, bro. Just kill them, bro. Okay, more Vipers. Maybe we get some more yoinks. These Hydras. Oh, we do have a wave dash forward to try and get them in position. More yoinks. Oh, the Disruptor gets the hit. The Disruptor did not get yoinked. Now it gets yoinked, but it already has shot his shot. We saw a yoink on the Observer as well, and now, oh my god, the army walks into a full siege line for a couple seconds, and that hurts. All of the blood, and these Hydras are going for a little dance. I love it when that happens with the Stasis Ward. This War Prism is trying to get some work done. Maybe he can get one Dark Templar in, but there is turrets underway. Turrets are pretty good. Actually, don't need pylons to build them. Terrans can just build a couple turrets near their allies' base, and look at this siege line. Thermal, that's disgusting. And if you look at uThermal Goblin, they are just gobbling up the entire map. And they did a very similar thing to MaxSpec Spirit, but MaxSpec Spirit was making a big carrier army behind it. and eventually just waltzed into their main base and killed them like that. But that does not seem to be happening here on the side of Urono and GuGus. Urono still committing to a ground army. He has Archon Immortal, which a friend of mine lovingly calls Protoss Mech. Oh, wave dash forward into the stasis trap, making sure as many Hydras as possible get stasised. And Goblin has control of both Cell Nagas. If we look at their vision, they just see everything. It's so easy to play like this. Planetary plus tanks. How many tanks are on the map now? 17 are on the map. Quickly look how many we've lost. 17 have died. And these Hellbats in the front are so good against the Zealots. We even have Storm here from Goblin. Storm against Protoss. You'd see a new thing every day. These Vipers don't want to get feedbacked either. Or fedbacked? Let's just keep it at feedbacked. And uThermal is completely maxed. Probably dumping money over to Goblin to help him max out as well. Oh my god, the Hellions, they are in Hellion mode. They are cars, not Hellbats, and they jump on top of all of those Hydras, which are light units, and we have Storm, Disruptors, and Hellbats, or Hellions. All that splash damage, just getting rid of the Hydra army that GuGus had. GuGus dropping below 100 supply, clicks down this Disruptor, but he doesn't even quite get it. The drones don't have a base to go, and Urono tries to get a decent fight here with uThermal. Does get on top of the tanks pretty nicely, but this is just too many Immortals, or tanks for these Immortals to handle. And Goblin's backup as well. And just like that, it's a 1-to-1 in this best of 3. Urono and GuGu showing that they like to go for an early aggressive push, take map control, and then play it out from there. But this time around, Goblin and uThermal, they hit back really hard. They took the map control. And, I mean, I already highlighted it earlier. With these 2 Xel'Naga towers, this map becomes so crazy for tanks. It's honestly quite insane. I don't know what you want to do with Zerg on this map. I think that maybe rushing Mutas is okay. Like, these turrets are already very indicative of how hard it is to deal with air on this map. You can still harass this base and this base and this base and this base, and you can kind of circumvent these 2 Xel'Nagas is my biggest thing. If you get a couple lurkers to help your Protoss buddy stay alive, I think that's the biggest thing, huh? If you go for Mutas, then your Protoss buddy just kind of dies. If you don't have, like, I don't know, Banelings. I don't know. This seems pretty rough if a game goes like this again. Let's see how Urono and GuGus adapt in game number 3. And for game number 3 in this best of 3, Goblin and uThermal take back, or kick back in game number 2 and take the win. And now for game number 3, we are on Reclamation LE, which is the map with separate single bases or main bases. Then we have a shared neutral base with 1 ramp, 1 opening. Then we have 2 third bases, which are both on the high ground, which I feel like should be your third bases. And then we have 2 bases on the low ground, which should probably be your fourth bases. But we do see this base, because it's near your opponent as well, or near your ally as well. Sometimes they take this lower base as a third base, but it's really hard to defend if your opponents take down these rocks and get on top of this cliff, because then you just can't defend that mineral line. Now on the other side we have GuGus and Urono. GuGus switching colors and race once again. He is a Swiss Army knife, alright. Let's see what Urono and GuGus have planned here for game number 3. They took a cute win in game number 1. Honestly, that was a almost 20-minute slugfest. So they really played for that win. Urono takes the natural closer to his ally because he doesn't want to get blocked by Goblin. Good job. And Urono is putting his own probe here to try and block a Nexus, but he doesn't find a Nexus. And GuGus makes a command center. Gets pinged out by Goblin right away. And Marine is already out. Oh, Urono, are you going to lose the probe? No, he's not. He actually puts down a pylon and kind of makes the wall of uThermal a little awkward. But luckily, there's no Zerg, so walls are a little less important than some other matchups. Although in 2v2 it is quite nice to be able to wall off against like a Depths or what have you. Oh, the probe of Goblin comes in. GuGus has a Reaper and is going to take it down. Urono's probe is going to come back and we see a reactor coming out. A factory being built. Second gas. uThermal only on one gas. Probably going to swap his factory, get some Hellions, and is going to go for a second factory here. Okay. Is he going to go for Blue Flame? Oh, I was half expecting him to land his barracks there and make a tech lab. But maybe he has something else up his sleeve. Let's see what happens. We do see the Stargate for Goblin finishing up. He's going to send over his Oracle, try and do some damage, and of course both players will have to defend against that, which is the big difficulty. Tech lab coming out for GuGus. Is he going to go Cyclone or straight Siege Tank? One Cyclone would go a long way in defending against this Oracle, but if he's not a Terran main, he might just go for a Siege Tank, and he does fire up the Siege Tank. Hellions coming out for uThermal. 2 are already across the map. Urono does not manage to defend against this Hellion for now, and no reaction so far from the bottom team. Oh, Hellions do get some nice hits. We see that's a lot of kills. That's 6 probes dead right there. 2 Hellions for 6 probes. We take those, and now the Oracle flies in. Doesn't fly into the Protoss base. He wants to do an extra shot on each worker. He wants to work for his money. And this Oracle already gets 3 kills. Nice Oracle control by Goblin. And finds another SCV for his troubles. Finds another naked base for his troubles. Low health SCV gets clicked as well. Goblin, a very nice job. 6 more workers going down. And more Hellions are going to come in. This is the Goblin uThermal that we know and love from the January edition, where they also went full terrorist mode. They just kept running in with harassing units and taking down workers. You only have to hit it big once. And wow, we actually see double Phoenix coming out here from Goblin and uThermal. I think the feeding rules were changed to 7 minutes Blizzard time, where you can't feed your ally until 7 minutes into the game. Which I don't know if it's Blizzard time or real time then, but there was something about it. I think he tweeted about it, or he put a comment beneath his video. I don't remember. But suffice to say that the feeding strategies were nerfed for this edition of the tournament. And makes sense to me. I'm not sure if there was a tax put on it, because I am a big advocate of there being a tax, but maybe just because it makes sense, not because it's more or less fun. Maybe it's more fun if there's no tax, right? And I think we should prioritize fun here. Oh, the Hellbats come out for uThermal, and this stasis is going to be their demise. The tanks do shell those stalkers. There's a bunker here and 3 tanks. Now only 2 tanks remaining, and the SCVs come off the line. They repair the last tank, as 2 of them have already died. And all the colors make it really difficult to see who's winning. But it does seem like uThermal and Goblin do come out on top after losing 2 tanks to their opponents. And a lot of Phoenix didn't even come back for that fight. Dude, what the hell? 15 probes have died from Urono. So he's taken massive damage from Goblin and his Phoenix. Is this going to be the end of it? This is a lot of Phoenix. Oh, the Stalkers and the Marines do take down 1 Phoenix. And we even have some Stasis Wards here as well. Wow, Stasis Wards are pretty good defensively, huh? Still, more Phoenix are coming out. Oh no, Urono, don't do it. Don't do it, buddy. A 3rd Stargate is coming out for Goblin as well. Maybe he is expecting a nice cash injection from uThermal. I'm not talking about the prize pool. And uThermal sends over more Hellions to try and get something done here. They roast one Marine and are now going straight into the probe line once again. They try to force their way in, and they be lining them up. Because we see more probes going down, 22 in total, and there's an Oracle here as well. This Oracle is 11 kills and never wants to stop. The Stasis Ward stops Urono from using all of his Stalkers effectively, and now the Stalkers are very, very plentiful, or the Phoenix are very plentiful, and that means that all of the Stalkers can be picked up. That's only 13 Phoenix. It just feels like 55. Because they all, like, phase through one another. And the last two Stalkers, I mean, they're a move command. They get picked up, they get killed. And Goblin is going to go for a third base behind this GuGus. And Urono have not managed to take a third base of their own, which is often something you can do against Phoenix-based play. Oh my god, this medevac goes down as well. And if we look at the supplies, Urono and GuGus have had a pretty rough start to this game. Lots of harassment units from uThermal and Goblin taking down their workers. Without workers, you don't have income, and without income, you can't make more army units, and SCVs are getting picked up here, getting killed. Some Phoenix are being traded out, but I think Goblin doesn't mind, flies away, and then flies back in again. There's no units here. Do we have a recall? No, we do not, and now a lot of probes are gonna go down. It's basically the entire probe line. Poor Urono, he's completely dead. You need, like, 2 turrets and, like, Widow Mines everywhere. Look at the airspace on this map, actually. Holy moly, Phoenix are crazy. Now we have Fleet Bacon, +1 attack, and 3 Phoenix at a time. Whereas uThermal is just making tanks and daring his opponents to force themselves into him. So, GuGus does have tanks to force the lift on this third base, most likely. Although this is a lot of Phoenix. We do have a good amount of Stalkers. The Stalkers blink forward, but they don't want to blink into the tanks. They could probably also deny this Goblin base if the tanks are not in position. uThermal is sieging, or unsieging, to try and siege up so that he can actually defend his partner's base. There's cannons, and now there's also siege tanks, so this should be enough. But they are still going to try. GuGus and Urono running in. The Phoenix picking up a lot of units. The Marines still trying to shell down. The cannons in the back. The siege tanks still alive. And now the Phoenix seem to be reigning supreme. More Phoenix are coming in. And at the back of that, we still see Hellions taking down units. And with that, uThermal and Goblin do take down Urono and GuGus, who did win their game 2-0 in round 1. uThermal and Goblin beat them 2-1 in round 2 of the tournament. It's single elim, so they are going to go home, but they did play a nice series here in this best of 3, and I hope that you guys really enjoyed the 2v2. There is more coming. I asked some players to send me some replays, so shout out to uThermal for sending them, and shout outs to Skillus as well for sending me some of his replays. So we finally get like a little bit of a better picture of who is playing in this tournament and what styles people are bringing to the table. If you have some replays of your own, feel free to send them my way, and they will be considered for casting. Now, hope you guys enjoyed the 2v2 action of today. More is coming soon, TM. Be sure that you like and subscribe. Cheers.